All right, and we are live. Hi, everyone. Hi, Courtney. I'm
Hey, everybody.
just waiting for it to go. It actually isn't live yet. I mean, it is, but it's not showing up on there yet. And
It's
it will
alive,
in a
but it's not
second.
kicking.
Yeah,
Right.
it's alive. But it's
There we go.
not.
We are here with Tanji from Biscotti, or Roman Biscotti. Thank you for joining us, honey. I have really
Thanks
been
for
looking
having
forward to
me.
this because I know
Me
you have
too.
some incredible stories. We've just been talking for the last 20 minutes and, and
I've
I
been
know we have not
rambling.
even
Thank you for listening and letting me ramble.
oh, I mean, I want to hear what they're telling you.
Definitely, me
Any
too.
smart person living right now would want to know
Mhm.
what they're telling you. Just
Yes.
saying.
Tell me what you
So,
know.
where
Hey,
did it all begin? I mean, when did you start having I mean, do
well,
you even remember?
yeah, I don't know if you personally remember me saying this on my channel, but when I was 3 or 4, because I don't remember if I was 3 going on 4 or 4 going on 5, I just remember it was around there, around 4ish. There was a large being in my living room when I was living in Toronto with my hippie mother. So this would have been, if I was 4, it would have been around 76 or just before I turned 4, 70, 75, 76. And I still remember it. It's like, I don't remember a lot of my childhood growing up after that, but I remember the specific details of that visit, going down the stairs late at night and looking in this huge living room with hippie shag carpet, and there's like dark walls and then a little like a where the wall bends a bit, like a little L shape, and this huge, to me, I was 3 or 4, but still, the average ceiling is 8 feet. So yeah, if not taller. So he was like up in the corner. He was at least 6 or 7. He would have been 7 feet tall, at least 7 feet tall. Um, and he had a cloak on, so I couldn't see his face. So imagine if um, an angel or an alien or someone who has the technology to visit you has a backpack or wings or something on their body and then puts a cloak on. You know how that shape
Um,
looks? Because it wasn't like
yeah.
a big guy with the he was not bulbous, what's the word, he was large and covered. So I don't know if it was wings, I don't know what it was. I like to think it was a jetpack. Who knows, right? But he telepathically communicated with me and there was no fear. His face, now looking back in memory, thinking, okay, his face was in the corner and there's this big black mass of a man in the corner of the wall would be freaky, but not to me. I had no fear. Everybody coming in. So when I went up to him, I remember tugging, like, hey, mister, what are you doing in the corner of my room? And he turned slowly. And that was his way of not instilling fear. He was turning his back to me to say, you can come to me. I'm not going to stand in the corner and do this. He was non threatening. I went to him. We spoke telepathically. He told me a couple of things that I have shared. I'm still trying to remember the exact dialogue. There's a couple of things I've not shared because that's just between us. Um, but he said, I'll see you in 44 years. Now, if I was 4, right, or 4 or 5 at the most, I was under that. That would be around now. And he has communicated with me the past year and a half to 3 years. Um, almost 3 years since I started my first channel. It's just been coming back to me, and I can hear him and we talk. And a lot happens that I won't go into detail because it's things that I need to know privately for me. But what I do share, he's like, you need to tell people. But it's not just him. He's part of like a federation. I'm part of it. A lot of you are part of it in the future on the spaceship. When I talk to my spirit boxes and the apps, I hear all our voices on the spaceship in the future, like the movie Frequency. Different times, but you're communicating in that one time. So they give me information. For example, Rachele could be on the ship and she would say, pack your banana. And I'll be like, well, what is that? What does that mean? I'm not supposed to know now, but when whatever happens, I'll know. And the fact that you're telling me it's your voice and it's a nice thing always tells me there's comfort in that. You guys we're looking out for each other in all dimensions and all times. And those that we're connecting with now, it's because we have a reason to connect with, because we're doing something important in the future.
Are you not supposed to tell some of us if you have had contact, or if you're hearing that? Are you not supposed to tell us?
I can tell whoever, whatever. The reason why I don't want to spill everything is because there's that special someone that's supposed to come in my life. I've been single forever and I'm waiting for my true love. Okay. So when he comes, he's got all the information. He's going to tell me all that stuff that nobody else but I know. That the beings, the aliens, the angels, whatever you want to call them, have told me in conversation. So when that guy comes in my life and says all that, that's how I know he's the guy I'm supposed to be with for true love, but also we're supposed to do something really important.
Mission.
Yeah, a very important mission. And so that's why I don't want to say everything, because then somebody could go back and write everything down and say, well, I'm the guy. No, you're not. Prove it. But that's why I'm withholding certain things. But as far as the messages of, stock up on things that you wouldn't think of stocking up on, learn how to survive, even though you're fine now. Learn how to survive as if you were in a post-apocalyptic world. And all you had was string and duct tape. What could you do with that? How would you survive? Medically, physically, emotionally. And that's what they keep wanting me to tell people. Lose fear, lose ego, lose the doubt, and be okay with not having stuff. You can have it now, enjoy it now. But at some point, maybe years from now, maybe months from now, who knows, there's going to be a time in your life when you're just not going to have your stuff. So you're going to need to be able to mentally and spiritually and physically be able to cope with that. And that's the message that they keep. That's one of the constant messages they keep telling me to relay to people.
I have a question for you. Maybe I don't know, but I had a dream like 20 years ago that I was, along with my mom and my sister, being taken up in a spaceship. They were coming to get us because there was something that was going to happen to the earth. And then afterwards, they were going to bring us back. Is that supposed to happen? Do you know? Have they told you that some people are going to be taken up?
It's already happening. It's already happened. I'm one of those people that I'm like, I don't want to come back. I don't want to come back. You're taking me. I'm going to my planet by Earth. Yeah. And they're like, we know. And that's why we're not taking you now, because you've got more to do. Just a little bit more to do. And I'm like, so it's happened. There's a lot of times, and a lot of people can't understand it, so it sits uncomfortable with them. But there's a lot of times when loved ones mysteriously disappear or vanish or are killed, and then bodies are found in weird ways. And it's like that Stranger Things scene. It's not really their body. It's a fake body, because your real loved one is on the ship or time traveling or doing something, and they say, well, I can still feel so-and-so's alive. Yeah, but we buried him last week. Yeah, but that's not that. It's not, and I'm like, they're right. In some, not all, but in some situations, humans need closure for some reason. Humans can't accept endings, so they need closure. And so in certain situations, if you wanted to go, for example, you want to take off and go to the future, and your loved ones would freak out, you would leave a shell of a body of you so they would have closure. So
Makes
that they would
sense.
stop looking for you and not worry
Mhm.
about you. So you can go on in the future and drive really cool spaceships and stuff like that, right? You would want your family to have that closure.
Mhm.
Hi, Jonathan, and everybody coming in. Aloha, boop.
Courtney
So,
said, I recently dreamt that I was protecting you guys as you boarded. But I agree, Tanji. I don't want to be on this planet. Honestly, give me the new Earth, okay? Once
Mhm.
this
can I
is
just
all
show my
done.
cup?
Yeah, you got to go up a little bit. I love it.
That's my boyfriend from the future.
I love it. So,
people.
did everything stop, all the communication until like
It's
a couple
always
of years ago?
no. It's always to the outside world and woohoo, Tanji talking to the wall again. But growing up, it was always I could see things and hear things that nobody else could. So I at a young age, I realized that. So people couldn't see what I see. I'm like, whatever. So I would either do it discreetly or they communicating with me would do it discreetly. Like I'd be watching cartoons, eating cereal, and they're like, psst, don't panic. Okay. Pretend you don't hear us. Okay. You know, don't go outside with Billy today because he's going to be, in trouble and you're going to get in trouble too. I'm like, okay. And then let it go, right? But those around me, my mom was okay, but the others around me her friends would react really negatively if I was channeling or this is
Fear.
a thing I talk about a lot. I'm not talking about all cases, but a lot of cases your kids don't have a tick or physical or mental problems. They're channeling.
Mhm.
So I would have like mouth stretches and dry skin, and I watch TV, and all of a sudden I'd be like, and things like that, which I see a lot of kids do. They're getting messages, they're getting downloads, and there's an effect, whether it's itchy skin, you're doing mouth stretches, you're tugging, you're pulling. Not all cases, but some of them. And it's important to listen to your children or spouse or whoever just out of the blue says something that makes you go, wait, what? Because it's not always them, it's information coming through. And good or bad, I would rather have knowledge to empower me than not know nothing at all. So that's why you got to lose the fear when you're experiencing weird stuff. Embrace it. So growing up, I just learned, I tune
Where
it
a
out.
lot of the fear comes from is the unknown. Once you know, then you can deal with it. But
Yeah.
depending
And
on the information, that is.
well, the thing is, my daughter, here's an example. My daughter, when she was 14-ish, well, puberty to 14, actually very younger, but at that age around 14, it was so strong with her, the psychic connection with aliens. They were physically showing themselves to her. I know I know they're around. You're around. It's fine. It's cool. Don't rinse me off and we won't have a problem. And they're like, fine. But they were showing themselves physically to my daughter and she couldn't handle it. She didn't have she didn't see them as a youngster. She saw scary things as a youngster and she processed things negatively. So by the time she was around that age, when they showed themselves in, multicolored dimensional beings or aliens or whatever you want to call them, she would flip out, And so I tried to explain to her, this is a good thing. They're not trying to hurt you. They're just showing you themselves outside the window. You see a red alien? You see a green alien? You see blue? What are they doing? She's like, nothing. They're just staring at me through the window. I'm like, okay, come and get me and we'll talk to them. No, I'm scared. I don't want anything to do with it, she'd say. So I was like, how do you teach somebody not to have fear in a moment when they're freaking out? That's the precise moment you need to listen to what the messengers have to say to you. Because for her to see 5 different rainbow colored aliens outside our house, floating in front of her window is a huge important event.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't tell a 13, 14-year-old not to panic, you know? And so she just dismissed it and would get angry every time something happened. And I embraced it. So when it happened a lot, I don't react when I hear things. I'll just,
Right.
because it would
Oh, yeah.
freak her out, right?
Another Tuesday, right? Yeah, exactly.
So I'm like eating cereal and I hear a voice in my head. Don't panic, right? Just listen to what's going on. Now, if you're hearing stuff like kill your family and eat your dog, well, no. Seek some professional, safe, trusted help. But I'm talking about little things like your door opens. Well, don't freak out. You don't see anybody, your door opens and nothing else happens. Somebody's trying to get your attention. Important, because that's an important, even if your grandparent who died 10 years ago needs to get your attention, they know that you'll be staring at that door going, oh my God, what's going on? And in that moment, they have your attention, right? And so anything that happens, pay attention, take a deep breath, calm down, write it down, document it. Don't be afraid to communicate with, it could be future you. Future me hangs around me all the time, especially when I'm dancing in my kitchen. Future me is there communicating telepathically with me. So, some people might think, they're scared because they see stuff, but it might be you in the future. It might be you from the past. Time is fluid. There is no, set in stone anything. It's all perpetual. It's all, infinity back and forth. It's all happening at the same time. So freaking out.
Could they be different existences too? I mean, like different lives that you lived that you're experiencing at the same time?
That could be a possibility as well. There's also residual stuff. There's a rabbit hole that you could just go down. There's so much to that. But if you're on a mission if you're working with the Federation, the aliens, whatever you want to call them, angels, time travelers, you're downloaded with everything you need to know. So subconsciously, you know it. And if you're experiencing something that is not something you're supposed to do, you will have no desire to do it. That's fine. Having no desire to pay attention or think of something or whatever is fine. But freaking out and losing your ever-loving mind because your toy is floating across the room is not a reason to, for sale, by the way, contact me. It's not a reason to not pay attention, right? The thing is, when stuff happens and people tune it out, like, nope, I'm not going to deal with it because I'm freaking out and I can't handle that. I know they're scared, but that really bothers me because that's that moment that you should be paying attention. That's when you're going to get all the juicy information. You don't watch a Netflix movie and the killer is, nope, I don't want to know, click.
After watching it for 2 hours, right?
Right? You can't do that. You don't just turn off the TV when they're going to tell you all the juicy stuff.
I mean, how many times have you watched something boring and you had to watch it to the end because you had to know, right?
Because you were already invested. I do that. I'm 40 minutes in. Dang it, I have to watch it now. I need closure.
Yeah.
I can't not know.
Did you see what Jonathan said?
Oh, I love you, Jonathan. I love you guys. I love it. Whatever that means. I love it. You're so funny.
So have they physically touched you? Did they physically touch you?
Oh, yeah. But all the time. But here's the thing. Sometimes it's your guides. Sometimes it's future you. Sometimes it's your children. Sometimes it's aliens. Sometimes it's fae. I'm surrounded by fae too. They play with my hair. And you'll know my hair is a sentient being and she has messages for everyone, so pay attention. We've just recently, and also when you have no concept of time, which I don't, you don't remember if it was 5 minutes ago, 5 hours ago, yesterday, last week, or this morning. That's when you're having them around you. So I remember, like, either yesterday or today, someone went, I went, oh, hi. Now, they don't always tell me who it is. They're like kids, you know, they run and they grab your shirt and they run away. And so it could be your grandparents. It could be future you. It could be your guide. It's never a threat, though, because I always do the mantra of the white light. Only the good shall pass. It's like a invisible bug zapper. Any bad juju's come, zapped, and only the good ones come through.
Right.
I have a lot of spiritual bouncers too. I have a lot of really cool, you know, those big guys at the club. They're like huge and scary, but they're so sweet teddy bears. They're just really kind. I have a lot of those kind of aliens or guides. I don't always know what they are, but I know they're there and I know that they're good. I don't know if they're fae, alien, or human, but they're protecting and they're helping and they're letting the good stuff come through and keeping the bad stuff away. I squirrel. So remind me what I was talking about. Do they touch me? Yes, they touch me, but in a good way. Yeah, never in a. They can't touch me in a bad way because years and years and years ago when they did, they were very sorry when I unleashed my vortex, which I don't do unless I absolutely have to. It's like you never shoot an intruder unless you absolutely have to. Life or death. Well, you have that power within you of everyone's different. Mine is the white light energy or like a laser, like a lightsaber emitting from my body. It'll just cut their energy and Anubis them. It's like they never existed. So when I was attacked, like I wasn't really attacked. I was aggressively touched, you know, like that, like as if a person came up the street and grabbed me. Well, you would karate chop their arm and say, back off, grandpa, and spray them with bear spray, right? So you can psychically do that too. And then they never, ever bothered me again. They never harmed me after that. I probably vanquished and vortexed the guy who did it, but it doesn't mean he was trying to hurt me. He might have been desperate and trying to get my attention because people who die don't always know they died, some of them. But I have zero tolerance in 3D form of people touching me physically, aggressively. And I have zero tolerance in the 5D, 8D, alter internet dimensions of people being aggressive with me there. So they know now. It's been years, you know. I have all these energies around me. So Faye, imagine all your favorite best people that you love throughout your whole life are all with you living in your house. And you could physically see them. Imagine somebody comes in that door and tries to get to you. You know how many people they got to go through first?
Right.
Before they get to you? Well, it's psychically that too. So that's why I say, talk to your friends and got your angels, aliens, guides, your team, because like a friend, they don't know to help unless you ask them, and they will do it. Because I'd rather have an invisible, you know, fortress of protectors and friends around me than nothing at all. And if every now and then they play with my hair or they move my furniture, fine. That's just them letting them know they're around doing their job. They're never harmful to me. It doesn't make me feel fear because we've built a rapport of respect over the years. Yeah. And
you know what I see?
Sometimes I smell something. I'm like, I know you farted. I know you did. And I cut them out, right? I'm like, hey, you can't do that. I wouldn't put up with a human. I'm not going to put up with an invisible. Go outside.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry,
no, that's okay. What I see in you, Tanji, that and especially just listening to you, is a immense power. And I think that the immense power that I see is that you are totally confident. And to me, that's power right there. There's no doubt. I don't see any doubt in you. And I wish everybody could embrace that, just like you were talking about. Yeah.
I wish so too. People will get there, but they have to understand that this is a scenario. My guides always say this one. We like this one. Okay. If you're on your deathbed 100 years from now, in the future, looking back, talking to your younger self, what would you say? Would you say, yes, continue your fear and be scared and fearful of things? Or would you say, look, you got to embrace life by the cojones? Do what feels right. Don't do what doesn't. You don't have to feel fear, guilt, or doubt. Just live your life the way you would want to be treated. Treat others the way you would want to be treated. Live your life the way, if you could make it in a movie, the perfect way you'd want, live it that way. Excuse me. Speak your truth, get out your gas, live your life the way you want to live it. And it will be that way.
And you don't tone it down for anybody, do you?
No.
Yes. Wonderful. That's fantastic.
Yes, it is.
That's it.
Exactly. On sale now. You can purchase.
My coffee shop and my about section on my channel, Roman Biscotti. Thank you. I love you. I'm here all week. My bibliomancy book for sale. Yeah. So I just embraced, my mother, even though she was woohoo hippie, she instilled certain things with me and let me go with it. And she let me be my woo-woo self.
And
but then when, the intellectual elders of her group would come by and say, there's something wrong with your child. She's staring at the wall and licking the curtains. My mother would be like, she's fine, leave her alone. And then everybody else was like, no, you need to get her checked. And I'm so glad my mother nicely told them to F off or just ignored them.
Yeah.
Because my mother understood what it's like, that it's important that you let people be in their own little world at the right time. Maybe not if you're a surgeon performing, a life-saving thing. Maybe not go off into your own little world. You need to focus on what you're doing. But after, go off and be you.
Yeah.
Again, where's my? Yes, my. There we go. My third eye meaning. For YouTube. Lose the fear, have fun, be your authentic self. Yeah, never worry about what anybody else thinks. That's basically why I am the way I am, because I just don't care.
Do you ever get bad messages for people? Because I will say, one of the things that I've always noticed in your readings, they're always very positive or constructive.
Helpful. Yeah.
Yes.
Here's the thing. If I ever got anything really bad, it was in a private reading years ago. But it was important that they heard it, and it's probably saved their life. So, I've never, other than that, I've never had, like I say 99% of what the guides tell me to say. Sometimes I got to tone it down because they can be more colorful than I am. Or vulgar. They are. Who cares? They're, they're like your family.
They don't understand everything. I mean, they don't understand. Is there like different languages or understanding?
No, they're just they just blunt and come out and say, this is an example. They want to tell, Larry not to be a PUS. Don't be, but I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say the guides want you to man up, and you don't need to be wimpy in this situation. So I'm not sugarcoating things, but if I say what the guide said to Larry's going to focus on what was said and maybe get upset and not listen to the message itself.
Yeah.
So I have to reword it in a way that Larry can digest it and understand what the guide was trying to say. Now, those are usually the human guides that passed and cross over, that talk like that. I've had my alien technician be hilarious and say, come through a box one day. And I said, why did my power go out? And I hear karma. And for 90 seconds, I'm like, what do you mean karma? I do everything right. Then I stop and I pause and I hear, sorry, just kidding.
Oh my God.
And I was like, you little monkey. So they have a sense of humor. He was like, could you imagine the 90 seconds I was flipping out? They were probably laughing their butts off on the ship.
Yeah. Look, we're going to get her going. Watch
They
this.
got me. Oh, you got me. Good, you got me. Hey, Sonia and everybody. Yeah. So it's not that anything bad comes through. It's just your higher self is communicating with me when you give me permission for the third. I only do with permission. So it's like your older self is telling me, hey, tell the younger version of me not to be scared and that you're loved and you're actually a really good person, but you just got to get your butt in gear, or, you've got to focus on focusing or whatever it is.
Right.
So the messages are never dire because I always say only those who are meant to get messages will come through. Those that are meant to get reads will. Only the good shall pass. So I don't come across a serial killer, not that I know of.
Right.
And if I had, they had really good energy. Maybe they were killing bad guys, so it's okay, right?
Exactly.
Who knows?
It's all in how you look at it, right?
It depends on how you look at it. And the whole point of the third eye reads is that I'm connecting with your highest self and your guides whenever, wherever. And, when you die and you look back on your life and you time travel, everything's clear to you. Hindsight's 2020. That's the high frequency I'm talking to.
Mm-hmm.
So how would you, if I'm doing, Rachele's read and future you, after you've died and you're in the future and you're flying in spaceships and you're having a great afterlife and you come to me to tell me messages for you in this time, would you be hard on yourself, or would you just say, honey, you're doing good, maybe pay attention to blah blah blah,
right? Future self would know exactly what I was ready for and what I was not ready for.
Exactly. So, and that's why a lot of it, some people think a lot of it's fluff, but it's not fluff, because when I get messages like, you need to sit outside every day. Well, that's an important message,
right?
Because you do that, something good happen, ripple effect. Right. Maybe you're sitting outside and then you hear a bird singing and then you want to paint that bird, and you paint that bird and you sell it and you get money and you feed your family, all because you were reminded to go outside. That's what the guides do. They just remind you of what you already know or what you haven't paid attention to.
Right.
Speak your truth, your guys. Hi, Bluebell and Jamie and everybody.
So I have another question for you. As far as like cryptids and stuff like that, like Bigfoot, mermaids, stuff like that, have you ever had or seen? Because this is just my belief that they're just on different frequencies as well, or can be. You ever?
Yes, they're all everything. It's all real. If you're asking me personally, I'm telling you from my experience, it's all real.
Have you had contact with them, or has your guides told you about them at all? Do you ever ask questions like that?
I do. We talk about it a lot, actually. We don't go deep often, but when we do, it's quite funny. Even my deepest conversations can be hilarious with them. So it's funny you say this, because I was binge watching Bigfoot stuff last night. It just happened to come on, so I was cleaning and reorganizing, and I listened to stuff Unexplained, William Shatner and the Unexplained, and it happened to be about Bigfoot. Hey, Candy, everybody. So I know truths a lot of people do. When I'm hearing something or seeing something, I know what is true and what is not true. I'm not going to say a lie, because a lot of it is misunderstood. So people think that's the right way. So when I was listening to certain people talk, I knew truth. I could see the colors change and I could feel a vibration. And when the men were talking about their experiences with Bigfoot, they were interdimensional beings. I'm like, yes, that's true. First of all, if you look at Bigfoot or a wood ape or Sasquatch or Yeti as a guardian of the forest, of the land, you would be respectful and you wouldn't be a schmucky human. Not everybody is, but a lot of people are schmucky humans. Never go after something just to prove to yourself it's real. Because you may regret it and you may be messing with things that you have no idea the consequences later. If you're taking a walk in the woods and you happen to see or hear or smell something, enjoy it. It's not going to hurt you if you're not a threat. But if you're a bunch of yahoos with camo on and guns and we're going to go hunt Bigfoot and we're going to get proof. Why? You know what I'm saying?
I love your voices.
I know, right?
What do you leave Bigfoot alone? Because
I almost felt like I was watching that show.
Right?
Uh-huh.
And it's one thing to want to, like I said, nature, holding a flower, walking in the forest is completely different than show me yourself. I'm gonna put you in a cage and cut you up. And no. So that's why when you ever experience anything and people say, well, rocks were being thrown. Well, did a rock hit you? No. Well, then that's a warning. Because I would do that too, even a human. If I was living on land and didn't want people on my land, I would throw rocks and make weird noises. I wouldn't let them know it was me, so they could think whatever they want to think. Right. But an interdimensional being that's protecting the forest, that's scaring people off, has its reasons. Also, if you do a lot of research, you'll understand that children who have gone missing throughout time have always had help from a large, what would the kids call them? Furry man. But they call them something else. They don't say ape. They the gentle giant or the furry man or the hairy man. And the kid would end up 400 miles away in a cave. She'd be safe because the hairy man took her there. Not all hairy men are good. I'm just clear.
Right.
We're talking about the Bigfoot interdimensional being hairy man. Not the banjo playing, you look nice in them jeans, boy. Yeah, not that kind of hairy man. Yeah. So everything is real. When you see a lot of weird stuff when you walk in forests and you see trees with faces, it's like you're looking at it and your brain's trying to understand, what am I seeing? And it's really looks like it's got eyes and the mouth and the nose because it's alive. The tree is alive. Talk to the tree. Be gentle with the tree. So it's all real. And I always say, I love that expression. Those who believe in magic will find it.
Yes.
And if you don't believe in it, that's fine. But you don't need to bash those who do. Because you get bad karma. You really will. And people like, well, I'm having a bad day. My truck broke down and my dog ran off with my wife. Well, what did you do to piss off nature?
Exactly. I'm telling you, if you weren't doing third eye readings, you could be a comedian too.
Yeah. I used to call myself co-medium. Comic medium. But my shtick was I'm a stay-at-home comedian and part-time mother with a full-time headache. I'm here all week. Yeah. I do have visions of me on tour, psychic tour, comic tour, so comedian tour. And then I try to think, okay, who would be my manager? Who would be my promo? Where would I go? And what would the shtick be? But the funny thing, the irony of it all is I can't rehearse anything because my short-term memory is, I can't remember lines. It's not happening.
That's even better though, because it just happens.
It'll just go off into something else. I've had people say to me, you need to go to Vegas. I'm like, what for? You need to go and stand on the street. What do you mean stand on the Just talk. Just go to Vegas, go to a street and just start talking. I'm like, okay. She's like, you're so funny. Just watching, observing, but it's just normal for me. I do exaggerate and animate life because that's how I see it. It's funny to me. Most of it's hilarious, and people don't realize how funny life can be if you just chill.
Yeah.
The other day, my friend came over, and for years, I've known her for 28 years, and for years she tells me, okay, if I ask you for 20 pieces of cheesecake, don't let me do that again. I'm like, okay. Time goes by, she comes by, brings me a wheel of cheesecake and says, I'll take 1 slice and give me 4 to take home. So then I went into my, to make her remember 28 years of her reminding me, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to give you cheesecake and, you're going to inject it and go home and get all wired and call me at 3 a.m. I'm dying. Why did you give me cheesecake? I hate you. You're supposed to be my friend. But because I over-exaggerated it, she remembered. She's like, you're right. I forgot. I was jonesing for sugar and I wasn't thinking. And I'm like, see, if I didn't throw it in your face in the obvious comedic way, you wouldn't have remembered. So life is like that. Sometimes you got to throw things back in such a goofball, Jim Carrey, Robin Williams, Martin Short way, because people will remember that. They may not
don't
remember
you take it better when it's done in a funny way, comedy way?
Exactly.
The ego takes a step aside.
Exactly.
I love comedy. Oh man,
I do
love
too.
to laugh and just
and
make
your
fun
brain
of myself sometimes because it's not that serious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You remember could you imagine if the physics of time and space was done in a comedy way? You will remember, you would actually understand algebra if it was presented to you by Jim Carrey, Robin Williams, and Steve Martin and Martin Short. You would remember Whoopi Goldberg, as an atom, I'm growing, remember me, atoms, protons, neurons, and all those funny songs about science. You remember. But if you're in the classroom teaching me, my brain's going, cookies, don't remember where I am. And then I forget that I was even in that class.
Yeah.
So life is like that. Life is a comedy movie, and there's going to be times in it where there's the crescendo or the anxious, stressful part, or the dun dun dun, huge dramatic music moment. But then most of it, when the movie's done, you feel good about that movie. You laughed, and you remember it more than you do a really sad, dramatic war movie, because the comedy, something in the neurons happens when it makes you laugh. You remember it.
And it's so healthy. Laughing is so good for you. Seriously. So good for you.
It's what I remember about people is their laugh.
Oh gosh, it's infectious.
Remember their laugh before I can even picture their face.
I think if somebody can sit there without, laughing, just a straight face, or they don't find, anything funny,
right?
They're a psychopath.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
I mean, there's just some things, and animals are like nature's funniest beings, and when you have, people watch too, and you see people so serious and in life, and then you see like a squirrel fall off a fence with all its nuts in its mouth, and and you see the guy start to laugh. Okay, he's not dead inside. He's got a little bit of a heart left. But there are those that are just like, no, nothing's funny. Go away. I'm made from robots, styrofoam parts. You will not make me laugh. It will not happen. Then you can't deal with those people. That's not your person to deal with. Yeah. But you might be really good with making a transistor radio into a spaceship. So who knows? What is expertise?
Come on. We need to have a sense of humor.
We do.
So the beings that you've been in contact with, are there do they tell you where they all are? I mean, are all multidimensional, or are some of them on the moon? Are some of them in our oceans?
Yeah, all over
Earth?
different times. Take care, Jonathan.
Have a good one, Jonathan.
Coming. Ooh, the Great Beyond. I'll have to check it out. What was the question? I forget. Where am I?
Like different places.
Right. So specifically, I'll for example, say I'm like, okay, I want to talk to my crew on the ship in the future. So I'll project or I'll dream or I'll talk to them there. I'll be sitting outside. I don't do drugs, contrary to popular belief. I just drink coffee, smoke cigarettes. It's the real deal. That's my meds for me. So when I'm out there having my coffee and smoke, that's my meditation. And that's when I'm thinking of what color should I, make the baby biscotti hat? And then all of a sudden I'm getting a vision of Neptunian underwater worlds. That's because I was open and my Papa Neptune, I like to call him, contacts me and showing me what's happening in that realm. Or you're thinking of a friend and then, that you haven't seen in years and days later they call you, because they're connecting on that frequency. You're meeting somewhere in the ether, right. And they're like, oh, so-and-so's thinking, I'm thinking of them, and they call you. It's the same thing. You could just be cleaning dishes and cleaning the floor, feeding your dog, and the next thing you know, you're communicating with beings, from wherever. So it's not always planned. I'm a go with the flow kind of gal. It just happens anyway. But they know I'm open to it. So talk to them.
So they're all over the place. They're in the inner earth.
They're all over the place. They're in my face. They're in my hair. They're outside. They're everywhere. And I would rather always surround myself with that energy than humans, that are around this town anyway. So I'm always open to it's like, for example, in the 3D realm, there's people that always sit on their porch. They're always there. And you walk by, you're like, hey, Red. You always know Red's going to be there. But that's how it is for me in my dimensions. They're always there. It's just, am I going to walk by and pay attention and go, hey, Exodor, how you doing today? Well, I'm on the ship. And, and then he'll tell me about his day. I do make it a point to ask them how they're doing. I don't always, me. Tell me. I want to know everything, the secrets of the universe. No, I'm like, how you doing today? What's going on in your end? A lot of the times they don't want you to know details, so they'll say they're fine. I'm fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. And I'm like, well, where are you? What are you working on? And then I send them and project them what they need, which I forgot to mention. A lot of times people don't do that. So the people, if you knew your friend was sick, you'd be like, oh, I'm going to send you a care package, right? But you don't think that your guides, people don't usually think that their team, invisible team that they connect with, needs your help. So every time I'm done a reading, I project supplies, a buffet food, and bowling and disco or whatever they could use, gardens, parts for spaceships, good weather. I project that out to them as a thank you.
So okay, because they're on different, because some are, there's just like so many different realms, more or less, right?
Very, very. So I just send out I send out care packages to them that they can transmute to. Sometimes I just send energy to them so they can transmute that for what they need. And it's not always just it's not just guides. It's the crew. Imagine a spaceship in the future. Okay, you have your communications deck. You're talking to your guides, your team, but you're forgetting the crew in the, what is that called? The bottom of the ship, the hull of the spaceship. Who's running the lasers? Who's running the anti-gravitational? Where do these parts come from? They need to make sure they're not, that they need to make sure they're safe from asteroid debris if they're flying in space in the future. So I project that out to them. Safe passage, non-threatening help. We don't want any space pirates jumping on their ship, right? Hey, everybody coming in, hey, lady night. So I always give back energy as an exchange for them helping me do readings, because I don't just take, I always give something back. I wage spiritual wars offensively to against all your demons and yourself by my... Wait. I wage spiritual wars offensively to against all your demons and yourself by my mightiest name of Baby Biscotti, master
you,
of
Maria.
all cuteness. Dun dun dun. And they suck out the bad and they filter it for good. That was wonderful. Thank you.
Done so elegantly, I must add.
Yes, very.
That's that. Well, then the guides are like, talk about it. Okay. So this is an example
That's
I use a lot.
spirituality.
When somebody, if you're sitting on your porch, minding your business, talking to your friends, and some little brat neighborhood bully comes by and whips a tennis ball at your head. Shut up, you evil lady. If you grab that tennis ball and you take that tennis ball, well, Billy, it's mine now. You're never getting it back. And you keep that tennis ball, okay? Then Billy is powerless and no longer has a tennis ball to whip at people. So when trolls or negative nannies come by and throw their negativity at you, you have every right to grab that, take it, and filter it for your own goodness or to help others. You don't ever have to feel bad about taking the power they give you. It's like if I give you kisses, you're going to, oh, I love your kisses. Thank you. I'll take it. Well, if someone throws negativity at you, take it and filter it. Exchange it for good. And then you're draining the power of that person. You're taking their tennis ball away. They have nothing else to throw. Right?
So Mark has a question, honey.
Yes. Well, more times than not, if you need to seek professional help, please do so. But most of the time, children see very clearly, and they're not tainted by, at that age, they're usually not tainted by fear or, you didn't see that, it's not real. Yes, it can be a ghost and or residual energy and or a loved one or a guide or an alien or a future person, an astral traveler. It could be anything. So if you know how to protect your home, you should know how to protect your energy. There's lots of wonderful YouTube videos. You can be discerning, though. You don't want to act in fear. You want to protect your energy with love. Only the good shall pass. Talk to your guides and say, guides, please make sure only the good come through. Because like a friend, the guides don't know to help unless you ask. When you feel comfortable and protected and white, loving glow around you and your loved ones, talk to the, whoever's there. Sometimes, a loved one's passed or somebody's died and they don't know where to go and they walk into a room by mistake and the kid happens to see them. The kid screams, the ghost screams, and all heck breaks loose. So don't be afraid to talk to the spirit, and say, like if somebody stumbled into your home and wasn't a threat and they were drunk, you'd be like, whoa, you got the wrong house, buddy. Right. You would be stern, but you would be kind at the same time because you would know that it was an accident. They're not there to hurt you. They just don't know where they are. So talk to them and say, hey, only the good shall pass. If you are good, you can talk to us. Otherwise, if you're not good, guides, angels, disperse this energy and banish it. Then if you feel that it's okay, your guides are saying it's fine to talk to this person. Then maybe they need help. Maybe they're giving you help.
I think there's this huge misconception, though, that especially that stems from certain religions, that if there is a spirit, they're all bad, right? Or it's something demonic, or that you should, if you are even talking to them, that you're going to open up some sort of portal that's going to cause so many problems. That's just not, in my opinion, that's not the case.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's just another way to keep people in fear so that they won't really seek the truth.
Exactly.
Right?
And if you put it in a 3D form, it's like a injured dog walking down the road, and the neighbor's like, "That's a rabid, mangy, horrible dog. Don't touch it." But then to the trained eye, they realize that's not a rabid dog. He got into shaving cream. His fur's all matted and covered in bubble gum, and some kids were being mean to him, and now he looks like this. And then you clean him up and shave him off and give him to a good home, because you're the one who's seeing the truth. You're not listening to the neighbors saying, "It's a rabid dog. It'll bite you and give you rabies." You're actually ignoring the negative and focusing on what you're seeing and what you're feeling. And you end up helping that dog. That kind of scenario. It's the same with the, people who die. Look, everything is alive and has energy. Just because you're dead doesn't mean you stop existing. It's like a video game, another level. You're still alive. You're still you. And a lot of the time, unfortunately, people who die freak out because they don't know what's happening. They don't know they're dead, or they know they're dead and then they're losing their mind because they're like, "Oh my God, what do I do?" Because they don't understand that they're still alive. They're just in another form. Same when you dream. You're still existing. You're just in another world. Right? So you got to lose the fear, lose the doubt, lose the guilt. Mark, be loving with your kid, and the two of you can be loving with the, I call them invisibles. I don't personally like to use the word entity, only because it's been, to each their own. I speak for myself. Because the word entity does invoke a lot of negativity. So I say invisible, because just because I can't see you doesn't mean you're not there. And you could be an astral traveler, a person who's alive and well and visiting me. You could be an invisible.
So like remote viewing.
Yeah, remote viewing. You could be an alien. You could be me in the future. You could be my children in another time. You gotta be confident with being open. And you are going to learn. You are going to live and learn. You're going to make mistakes, but you're going to be fine. I've been through some really doozies, but in the end, I came out, really stronger, and real and feeling kind of dumb, because the energy that everyone said was an evil energy, he wasn't. He was mentally disturbed in life, but after he passed, he was confused and was stuck in a limbo. And so he acted out and made, haunted a house because he was trying to get attention, to get help. And so me and my friends helped him and helped him cross him over. And now he's one of my guides. Now he's great. Wow. So this is what I'm saying. You have to see things, ironically enough, you have to see things that you can't see with an open mind and an open heart. And use your own discernment and have healthy boundaries like you do with people in the real or in the 3D world. What's real? I can't really say in the real world because this might be
it is all real.
Right?
Right.
So in this 3D world, when you're dealing with people, you have a certain way. Like if your kid's acting up and throwing things and having a fit, you're like, "Stop it. I'm not getting you that cotton candy until you make your bed. Do your chores. I told you this." You're stern, but you're loving. Well, if you're dealing with a ghost or a spirit or an invisible, you'd be like, "Hey, don't make us cold, and you can come and talk to us. Here's some Scrabble tiles. Spell out what you want. Here's some chalk and a chalkboard, or here's an EVP recorder. Talk into it. Tell me what you need." And then make sure you're helping them understand that it's okay to talk to you, because on their end, maybe the invisible has been told, "Don't talk to humans. They'll vanquish your soul. They're evil," And so you have to if someone's coming into your home and sitting on your bed and you can't see them, that is the best time to talk to them and find out information. Get a rapport going. If you don't like it and you feel the energy is icky, then banish it. Ask your guides to banish it and vanquish it. Visualize a bug zapper in a spiritual realm. demolishing the yuckiness and filtering flowers, and all you smell and feel is good. You have to use your own discernment with spiritual things, paranormal, unseen things, just like you do in the 3D world.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Regina.
Mark, first of all, I'm very sorry for your loss. But I do have a question. It's weird that you're being, like, everyone in your family is being diagnosed. Do you guys all live in the same house? Could it be your environment that's causing problems? Or I have heard sometimes that if you have like certain types of energies, and you could probably answer this, Tanji, if you have certain types of energies that are around you, that it can actually make you physically ill.
Yeah, just like people.
Right.
Certain people, living people around you, make you crazy and ill. So do certain invisible ones. Animals too. Toxins in the home. If you're not exposed to, like, for example, hydro lines or a poisoned well, contaminated water, it could be people don't understand that black mold in the home, years and years of built up rodent feces and all kinds of other parasitic things in the home can cause diseases and things too. Breathing that in, asbestos in old homes, lead paint.
Or
right?
even environments, communities, like where
Right.
you have a big corporation that is poisoning your water, whatever. I've seen stories about that.
Exactly. And accidental poisonings too, of the septic water spilling into the filtered water. Some people are born with certain genetic disorders that mutate or show themselves later in life. You may not detect it when you're younger, but as an adult, it may come out as whatever.
Oh,
genetic disease. Oh.
wow.
Have you been to multiple specialists? Because I would never go to just one. I would go to different specialists around the world, because they deal with different environments and different medicinal. Some plants in one country they don't have in another, so they don't understand the medicinal properties of that plant. You know. Did I say hi, Regina? Hi, Regina.
Hi, sweetie.
Yeah. Just never be afraid to be curious. Remember Alice in Wonderland? She's my spirit animal, along with Bob Ross. Alice from Alice in Wonderland. She was always curious. Now look at all the weird things that she experienced. But did she ever sit there and freak out and get scared? No. She went straight up to the Red Queen. She played croquet with her. You know, she went to the Mad Hatter Tea Party. She experienced all the weirdness. And so open to it, and you're willing to listen and learn with the paranormal or the what makes you scared and why it makes you scared, you'll learn to lose the fear and that you don't need to be scared. If that makes sense. I'm getting messages. And I've got like 3 or 4 different guides talking to me.
From what I understand, or actually kind of adopted it as a belief myself, is that we make choices before we come into this incarnation to work out karma from past lives, or our past selves. So maybe it's something that you chose for. I know that sounds funny, but it's something you chose to work through, so it could be a positive thing to learn from, I imagine it is difficult,
There's also, I want to throw out there for the other people, I got severely burnt by the sun, and it technically did kill me when I was in the hospital, but it came back because you can't keep a good tinge down. Severely burnt by the sun, which developed myasthenia gravis, MG. Google it. It's basically the muscles attack themselves. So automuscular immune anyway, my muscles attack themselves and they don't know what's going on. And the doctors kept saying, "Oh, you were born with it. It's genetic." No. Now, this was 1989, before internet, before all that. And I knew that it was radiation from the sun. I have the Rh negative factor blood type. I have a slightly transparent skin. I don't know if you can see, but most of my skin is very veiny. Especially here, it's like on my torso, it's like invisible see-through skin. And I like it. I think it's cool. But the doctors kept trying to say, "No, you were born with this, so we're going to treat you for genetic myasthenia gravis," which ended up making me worse. And then I had to just, after a year, I had a bad operation go wrong, couldn't speak for a year. They were pumping me full of these meds that were keeping me down. I listened to myself and my guides in my body. I stopped all the medication my way. I don't speak for anybody else. I speak only for me. Stopped it my way, weaned myself off in a month, and smoked my coffee and drank my cigarettes. That's exactly why I'm fine now.
Right. That's great.
Yes, I smoke my coffee, drink my cigarettes, drink my coffee, smoke my cigarettes. But that works for me. So the point of that is doctors will try to tell you it's this, it's this, it's this. Now, maybe, but a lot of the time it's not. Because they refused to listen to me. They said I was born with the myasthenia gravis. No, I wasn't. I got severely burned by the sun. It tried to kill me. My body was not having that. It's like, it's not your time. Not today, Satan. She's going to live a lot longer. I was 17 at the time. And, they were telling my family, get ready to say your goodbyes. My lungs kept collapsing. I had to be on intubated machines. I had plasmapheresis. It was just one thing after another because they were treating me for it. Once they left me alone and I stopped them from poking and pricking and prodding me, my body healed. And I was okay. I still have it, but I rest when I need to and I deal with it my way. I'm not on any meds for it. The occasional allergy pill because I have seasonal allergies. But, I'm breathy because of the botched operation to my throat because they tried to take out a thymus gland, which was not infected. And they said it was. And that's why you have MG. And they were wrong about everything. So in some cases, the doctors are not right about what you have. And that's why I suggest going to different specialists around the world. Now you have internet. I didn't have it back then. But when I discovered that Hiroshima victims developed myasthenia gravis because of the massive radiation from the bomb, that made everything put in like that wheel that went, oh, boom, light bulb. And I knew I was right. And I knew that, yes, you can get myasthenia gravis by being exposed to massive radiation. And radiation can come in different forms. The sun, bombs, excessive, ion batteries. If you're continuously working in an environment with things that are toxic, that's going to either create, some kind of health problem. So, Mark, I suggest don't give up. And just because one doctor or one or two doctors say it's this way, it doesn't mean it has to stay that way. So you can go research the entire web, make some calls, do some documentary researches about different cultures and tribes. The ones that never get sick because they live off the land. They eat the right plants and they do the right things. It will help you. Now, you've got a lot of learning to do, but it's totally worth it to be well.
Meditation is great if you can.
You don't have to travel the world.
Because of the internet, you don't have to now.
Internet, yeah.
Right.
Talked Dr. Robert Morse on YouTube. Like, you can't get any better as far as I know. He will help with everything. Natural, organic ways. And he's the kind of doctor that will tell you the truth. Don't eat carrots, corn, and potatoes. It's not good for you. Your body can't digest that properly. What are you doing? You know, you want to clean your lymphatic system. You want to get out the toxins, lemon water, blah, 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 whatever. You know, Dr. Robert Morse, I think it's Morse. He's got a whole playlist of all kinds of things. He treats cancer patients. He actually cures people. He reverses the negative effects of their health. Thank you. Of their health, because they got more sick going to traditional doctors.
Yeah.
So, and he can help reverse things, Dr. Robert Morse. He can help. You have to understand him. So if you can get a translator, because you want to make sure that you're understanding exactly what he's saying, because holistic medicine, he's a real doctor too. He's a real.
You said he's on YouTube?
He's on YouTube.
Got a YouTube channel?
A specialist in everything. You can write to him. He will talk to you on the video and answer you. But he gives you the real way to cure yourself. He's not bought by a pharmaceutical company. He's not owned by the government. So he can freely tell you the right way to heal. And you can cure yourself and your family.
Wow.
You can.
That's fantastic. Yeah.
As long as it's not like something that's also caused by environmental. Because if it is affecting your family, it could very well be.
You might have to move. Yeah.
Right.
Totally worth it.
I mean, I've heard where they call something genetic when it is environmental because they don't know.
Yes. And they're never going to admit to that. I mean, you know, you see the movie Aaron Brockovich.
Exactly. And there's many more. I mean, there's big companies like DuPont. I just watched all that. Class action lawsuits against the company DuPont because the coating that they were putting in the frying pans and stuff like that, and the big all cancerous, and the big companies that they had, they were not disposing of their stuff properly, and it was poisoning a whole town of people. Got in their water supply, in their ground, everything.
Hold on, I'm choking on saliva. I'll be right back.
So yeah. Yes. Good luck with that. Yes, best wishes. So we are actually over an hour. Tanji, is there anything that you feel is super important that you would like to say to anybody before we end this? And thank you so much for doing this.
Thanks for having me. I love being here. I would want to reiterate what the guides always tell me to tell people. Believe in yourself. You came here for multiple reasons. Lose the fear, lose the guilt, lose the doubt. Believe in yourself. If you're believing things that others are forcing you to believe, then there's a problem. You're naturally beautiful. You have all the gifts and everything you were born with, but you forget it as you grow up, or it's beaten out of you or blocked out of you. But if you could just go back to, meditate or ask in your dreams and ask your guides, please do not be afraid to talk to your guides, because like a friend, they don't know to help unless you ask. And ask them to show you the truth of something. Now, if you have a nightmare, you say, for example, show me the truth of why I'm here, and you have a nightmare, that's a good thing, because you'll remember the nightmare. It's trying to give you symbols. Mm-hmm. That's what dreams do, to get your attention. I could have an apocalyptic nightmare about hamsters eating my face, and the whole reason is because the dream's trying to remind me not to forget my live at 3 p.m. with Rachele. That's it. Not that anything bad's going to happen. It's just trying to get my attention. And that's what guides and invisibles do. They try to get your attention. So just be open, be calm, laugh as much as you can, enjoy the body, the space, the life that you're in, because before you know it, it's gone. And do you want to have regrets in this life, or do you want to live the best life you can possibly live? Be good to each other, and have healthy boundaries. Do not allow people can't be afraid to put up healthy boundaries. Sometimes you got to get rid of toxic people, even if they're kind people. They can be toxic. So don't be afraid to respect your body, respect yourself, love yourself, and you get what you give.
Right on.
Right on.
I don't think we need to say anything else, do we?
No. My coffee shop in my about section.
Yes. Okay. Talk about that just really quick before we wrap this up.
I made bibliomanticas, which is my own copyright version word for a book specifically used for bibliomancy divination. Basically, oracle cards, tarot cards, charms, all in one. So I have two different versions. This is the 25-page lay flat hard copy. It's like a board game, but basically use it like bibliomancy. You can use your intuition or roll dice. So, for example, Carla, you want to be a guinea pig quickly?
Sure.
Okay. What does Carla need to be aware of right now that she's forgetting or not aware of? So then I could tell you to tell me to stop, or I could just go where I feel to stop. But I'm feeling this. You said stop right when I was gonna. Left or right? Left or right?
Right.
Your message from your guides, you are not alone. And that could be multiple, like you have angels and teams of loved ones with you, but also, hey, you're not alone. Don't start talking to that person about you know what, because you're not alone.
Right.
they're listening.
Don't take a shower naked. You're not alone. The dog is watching you. You know.
Gotcha.
Well, I was like, that kind of thing. So, yeah, this is for sale. It's in Canadian funds. It includes shipping to North America. It's in my coffee shop in the About section on my page, Roman Biscotti.
You know what? Let me put that in the chat really quick. Let me find it really quick. Hang on.
Yeah, when you go to the
Unless you have it right offhand.
I could. When you go to the Ko-fi link, there's it says gallery, about, photos, posts, and then shop. And you click on the shop. And you'll see this. There's how.
In the about section.
My about
Is there a link?
Oops. I hear somebody's.
I don't see a link here.
I hear it too.
It's mine.
Oh, okay.
The Fae are communicating.
Is it below all your channels?
So it's here in my about section. You go down to the bottom where it says links. Buy me a Ko-fi.
Well, that's weird. I'm not seeing any links on your about section. That's where I was just at.
On my about section?
Yeah. Oh, okay.
And then you go to the shop.
All right, here we go.
And then you'll see it's for sale. Canadian funds include shipping to North America. It's basically a cost. It's just the book and shipping. I'm not making a profit off them yet. We'll see. But I wanted to make them available for those who want to, have.
Very cool.
That is really cool. I like it.
Thank you.
And here is, I will be putting all of your links after this completely uploads will be down below. But I'm going to put them in right now anyways. Here is for YouTube. For anybody, everybody pretty much already knows you that's here. But for future, anybody, yes, it will be in the description down below. So I'm sure we're going to be having you on again, honey, if you're open to it.
Anytime.
Just
contact my people and they will contact me. It'll be for sale too. I'm just waiting to get her. A Kelly Sunflower made the body of this one, and then I put her in a clone machine and made her Roman Biscotti clone. But I'm just waiting for the glasses to arrive.
Very cool.
From the other dimension. And then she'll be for sale in the shop. And there's only one of her left. So, yeah. Thanks for having me, ladies. This was great.
This was wonderful. Thank you so much. You're just a wealth of so much information that we didn't know, but we need to know.
You do know subconsciously. I'm just reminding you. That's all. It's there all along. You had the power to go home all along within you.
Oh, the Yellow Brick Road.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. And we hope you have a wonderful evening or day wherever you're at.